My beloved brothers and sisters, every great change begins from the heart. It is easy to change your clothes, your tone, or your surroundings. But unless the heart changes, nothing truly changes. You can appear pious, yet if your heart carries pride, hatred, or jealousy, that outer image means nothing in the sight of the Almighty. The heart is the control center of your life. If it is pure, your entire being will shine with goodness. Many people wait for their situation to improve before they change. But in reality, the moment you purify your heart, your situation begins to shift. Forgive others not because they deserve it, but because a clean heart deserves peace. Remove grudges, and you will find your prayers flowing with sincerity. When the heart softens, the tongue becomes gentle, and the actions become pure. Remember, the Almighty looks not at your appearance or wealth, but at your heart and your deeds. So, ask yourself, what kind of heart do I carry? Is it one that seeks goodness for others, or one that hides bitterness and arrogance? The day you decide to work on your heart is the day your entire life begins to transform. True change starts within, not from external appearances. Many people focus on altering what others can see, their style, their speech, their surroundings. Yet they neglect the source of all transformation, the heart. The heart is like the engine of a vehicle. If it is faulty, no matter how polished the outside looks, the journey will never be smooth. When your heart is filled with faith, sincerity, and good intentions, it reflects in your behavior, your choices, and your relationships. You begin to see the world differently, with compassion instead of arrogance, with hope instead of despair. But when the heart is hardened, even the most beautiful actions lose their meaning because they are done for show, not for truth. True change begins when a person admits that the problem is not outside but inside. The moment you stop blaming people, circumstances, or the world around you and start working on what's within, that's when real progress begins. A heart that is alive with remembrance of the Almighty will automatically lead to actions that please Him. You don't need to announce your transformation. It will be visible in your peace, patience, and humility. So, my dear brothers and sisters, take a moment to reflect on your inner state. Ask yourself, is my heart soft, sincere, and connected to my Creator, or is it filled with grudges, pride, and envy? Because if you wish to see change in your prayers, in your family, or in your destiny, you must begin by cleansing your heart. Once the heart changes, everything around you will fall into place. Your speech, your decisions, and your purpose. Real change doesn't happen through words, it happens through purification of the heart. Purifying the heart transforms one's actions and character. When the heart becomes pure, it naturally guides a person towards goodness without effort or pretense. A clean heart carries light. It affects the way you speak, the way you treat others, and the way you respond to hardship. People who purify their hearts do not seek revenge, they seek forgiveness. They don't hold on to grudges because they understand that bitterness poisons the soul. When the heart is clean, your face shines with peace, and your words carry healing instead of hurt. You no longer feel the need to compete, boast, or compare, because your satisfaction comes from your connection with the Almighty, not from the approval of people. Purification of the heart is not a one-time act, it is a lifelong journey. It means constantly removing jealousy when it arises, replacing hatred with compassion, and resisting the whisper of pride that says, I am better than others. Every time you choose humility over arrogance, patience over anger, and forgiveness over vengeance, your heart becomes softer and purer. The Prophet taught that when a person sins, a dark spot forms on their heart. But when they repent sincerely, it is wiped away. That is the essence of purification. When your heart is purified, you begin to attract goodness naturally. People feel peace in your presence, and your actions reflect sincerity. Even when no one is watching, you choose what is right because your motivation comes from within, not from the world. Remember, a heart that is pure cannot harm others, lie, or oppress because purity doesn't coexist with corruption. The more you cleanse your heart, the closer you become to the Almighty, and the more beautiful your character becomes in the eyes of creation. Sincerity and intention determine the value of our deeds. You can perform the same action as someone else, pray, give charity, or speak kindly, but the reward depends entirely on what lies in your heart. If your intention is to please people, the benefit ends when their praise ends. But if your intention is to please the Almighty, then every act, even the smallest one, carries eternal value. The heart that acts with sincerity doesn't seek recognition, applause, or fame. It finds peace in knowing that the Almighty is aware of every hidden struggle, every silent effort, and every unseen tear. Many people do good deeds, but their hearts are not aligned with sincerity. They serve others, yet expect something in return. They help, but they want to be seen helping. True sincerity is when you would still do that good deed even if no one knew about it. When the heart becomes sincere, your worship becomes more meaningful and your character becomes more genuine. You begin to understand that your goal is not to impress people, but to improve yourself in the sight of your Creator. A sincere heart brings clarity. It helps you make decisions with honesty, love, and humility. You no longer waste energy comparing your life with others because you know that your worth is defined by your intentions, not your possessions or popularity. Even when others misunderstand you, sincerity keeps you steady because you know that the Almighty sees your truth. Remember, actions are only as valuable as the hearts behind them. Purify your intentions and your entire life becomes an act of worship. When the heart is sincere, Even ordinary actions become extraordinary in the sight of the one who knows what lies within. When the heart changes, life, relationships, and destiny change too. A person with a clean and humble heart views the world through a lens of mercy and gratitude. The same problems that once caused frustration now become lessons of patience. The same people who once hurt you now become opportunities to practice forgiveness. When the heart is healed, everything around you begins to heal as well. Your words soften, your behavior matures, and your relationships improve because they are no longer controlled by ego or anger. A peaceful heart cannot hold grudges, and a heart filled with faith cannot live in despair. Change begins inside, but its effects spread outward like ripples in water. When you fix your relationship with the Almighty through a purified heart, He fixes your relationship with people. You begin to attract peace because you carry peace within. Life starts to align in ways you never imagined. You find yourself content even in difficulty, grateful even when you lose, and hopeful even when things fall apart. That is the power of inner transformation. It changes your entire outlook on life. A changed heart sees blessings where others see problems. It learns to say, Alhamdulillah, in every condition and trust that whatever happens, happens for a divine reason. Such a person no longer reacts emotionally to every situation but responds with wisdom and calmness. The destiny of a person with a purified heart is always bright because the Almighty does not allow light to dwell in darkness. So, my brothers and sisters, if you want your life to change, work on your heart. Once the heart becomes soft, humble, and filled with remembrance, everything around you, your peace, your family, your future, will begin to reflect that light from within.